The phone hit the champagne tower with a crack, spinning through gold bubbles as Veronica D'Amato smiled beneath her bridal veil. At the altar, Gabriel Morello stood motionless in a black tuxedo. "Search her right pocket," Veronica ordered. Marco reached into Maeve Callahan's jacket, and a black diamond ring fell onto the white aisle. 300 guests went silent. Veronica looked over Maeve's full figure. A woman who carries dinner plates should know that touching a wedding ring does not make her the bride. Maeve did not bend for it. She watched her shattered phone sink between the glasses and said, "You destroyed that before anyone mentioned the recording." Veronica's smile tightened. "There are no copies left." Maeve lifted her eyes. "I never said there was a copy." The ballroom screens flashed awake. Veronica turned toward Marco, and Gabriel raised the real Morello ring from inside his coat. The one on the floor was fake. Then Veronica's own voice filled the room, ordering Marco to plant it, erase 11 minutes of footage, and make the fat waitress look desperate enough to steal a future. Gabriel removed his wedding band and dropped it at Veronica's feet. "The wedding is over. South Harbor is no longer part of any agreement." He stepped down and placed the real ring on the silver tray, trembling in Maeve's hands. "You returned this twice. You may return it again." Then the most feared man in Boston knelt during his own wedding. "Maeve Callahan, will you marry me?" 9 days earlier, she had only been trying to stop him from drinking the wrong bottle. By 8:30, the Marrow Room was running on polished silver whispered curses and Maeve Callahan's memory. She moved between 12 tables without a notebook, correcting a stake before the guest complained, and replacing a chipped glass before it touched the linen. At 29, Maeve was plus-size, steady, and difficult to intimidate. "Table 12 wants the private reserve," Nina Patel said, handing her a bottle of Amaro. Maeve glanced toward the corner booth. Gabriel Morello sat with 2 men in dark suits, still enough to make everyone around him seem careless. His reputation had arrived first: ports, warehouses, judges, funerals. Maeve turned the bottle beneath the light. The black wax bore the restaurant's stag crest, but the antlers faced left. Their supplier stamped them right. The lot number ended in 47B. The invoice listed 74B. She carried it to table 12 but did not touch the corkscrew. Gabriel lifted his gray eyes. "Pour. No." One of his men shifted. Conversations died. "The seal is wrong, the number is reversed, and this bottle never entered our inventory," Maeve said. "Until I know what is inside, nobody drinks it. Do you often refuse customers? Only the ones asking me to poison them?" Marco Silvestri laughed. Gabriel did not. At the bar, Maeve let one amber drop fall onto a spoon. A medicinal odor rose beneath the herbs. Ruth Brennan called emergency services, while Gabriel's men sealed the exits. 20 minutes later, a field test confirmed a compound capable of triggering cardiac arrhythmia. Gabriel found Maeve beside the service station. He removed a diamond ring and placed it on the silver saucer in her hand. "Wear this until I know who wanted you silent." The restaurant turned toward her. Maeve looked down at the ring, then back at the most dangerous man in Boston. The black diamond caught the restaurant light like midnight trapped in silver. Maeve kept the saucer level. "What is it?" the Morello seal, Gabriel said. "Anyone who sees it will know that touching you means answering to me." Marco watched as if gratitude were the only response. Maeve lifted the ring. A wolf's head was engraved inside the same mark on Gabriel's car's warehouses and armed men. So it is protection. Yes, from whoever poisoned the bottle and whoever decides you noticed too much. And when this is over, Gabriel's gaze hardened. "We discuss that later." Maeve returned the ring to the saucer. "No." Marco stared. Miss Callahan, that ring has ended wars. Then it can survive rejection. Gabriel did not take it. You prefer to remain exposed. I prefer not to survive by pretending I belong to a man I met 20 minutes ago. He stepped closer, but did not touch her. You misunderstand. No. The moment you placed that ring down, everyone stopped looking at me like a witness. Now they are looking at me like property. She pressed the saucer into his hand. If my safety requires your name, it is not safety. It is ownership. For several seconds, Boston's most feared man said nothing. Then his fingers closed around the ring. A woman's voice came from the entrance. How disappointing. Gabriel never offered me that one. Veronica D'Amato crossed the dining room in an ivory coat. Her eyes moved from Gabriel's fist to Maeve's uniform lingering on the curve of her waist. So this is the waitress who saved you. This is Maeve Callahan, Gabriel said. Veronica smiled. Then gratitude has become dangerously intimate. The next morning, Ruth found Maeve in the office holding an envelope. The Marrow Rooms building had been sold overnight. The new owner was D'Amato Holdings. Veronica's bridal tasting began at 6, though she arrived early with 12 guests and the expression of a woman entering property she owned. Maeve will serve my table, she announced, since she has become so attentive to Gabriel's drinks. Ruth stiffened. Maeve tied on an apron and lifted the first tray. Veronica examined her. Ivory uniforms would be prettier for the wedding, but black is kinder to certain figures. Several guests smiled. Maeve set down the plates without spilling a drop. Black is also harder to stain when people throw wine. Gabriel lowered his menu, hiding a smile. The third course came with another bottle of Reserve Amaro. Veronica touched the seal. This restaurant received the poisoned bottle. That makes it responsible. No, Maeve said. It makes whoever altered the delivery responsible. She placed 3 documents on the table, the invoice, the receiving log, and a photograph of the poisoned seal. Our cases were numbered 74B. The poisoned bottle was marked 47B. The supplier stamps the stag facing right. This one faced left. And the invoice was entered at 2:16 p.m., while our camera shows no delivery between 2 and 3. Veronica's smile thinned. A waitress is accusing my security team. A waitress is reading. Gabriel examined the papers. Marco leaned over his shoulder too quickly. The bottle did not come through this restaurant. Gabriel said loud enough for every guest to hear. Maeve's evidence is correct. Veronica looked at him, then at Maeve. Something colder than jealousy settled behind her eyes. After the guests left, Maeve and Nina searched the delivery archive. Near midnight, Maeve found the original receiving slip beneath duplicate invoices. The signature belonged to Daniel Kerrigan. Nina went pale. Daniel quit 3 months ago. Gabriel arrived before opening with 2 armored cars and a proposal Maeve rejected before he finished. You will stay at one of my residences until this is over. No. His jaw tightened. Someone forged a dead employee's signature to place poison in your hands. Then find them. I am not abandoning 32 employees because your solution has better locks. Maeve placed a typed agreement on the bar. You want my help? These are my terms. Gabriel read them. No surveillance at her home. No entering the restaurant without permission, unless there was an immediate threat. No paying her bills, buying the building, or moving her without consent. No physical contact without permission. Every fact concerning her safety had to be disclosed. Marco scoffed. Mr. Morello does not sign conditions written by waitresses. Gabriel took Ruth's pen. He does today. He signed without changing a word. For 4 hours, Maeve compared delivery times with hotel security logs. The forged invoice appeared at 2:16 p.m. The service elevator camera went dark at 2:11 and returned at 2:22. 11 minutes, she said. Gabriel studied the screen. The same gap appeared when my car was attacked last month. You never mentioned an attack. His silence lasted one beat too long. Maeve tapped the agreement. Every fact concerning my safety. You are right. The admission seemed to cost him more than money ever had. Near midnight, Gabriel found her locking the doors. May I drive you home? Maeve considered him, then nodded. You may drive. You may not follow me inside. A faint smile touched his mouth. Understood. Before they reached the car, Nina called Maeve back. She had recovered 3 seconds from the corrupted feed. On the frozen screen, Veronica D'Amato was entering the wine corridor during the 11 missing minutes. The last table left at 1:07 a.m. Maeve locked the doors while Gabriel studied the recovered image of Veronica in the wine corridor. You should go, Maeve said. So should you. I work here. So do I tonight. He removed his jacket and began stacking chairs. The sight of Gabriel Morello carrying furniture made her laugh. What, you look offended by the chair? I am offended by bad design. Between the scrape of wood and the hum of refrigerators, Gabriel said, The wedding is not about love. D'Amato controls the southern docks. Morello controls the warehouses. Marriage keeps both families from turning Boston into a battlefield. Do you want to marry her? I agreed to. That was not my question. His hands stilled. No. Maeve held his gaze. Then you have treated marriage like a contract so long that you no longer know what it means to choose someone. And you do. I know what it means to be chosen only in private. Her voice softened. Men have wanted my body, my loyalty. They just did not want the cost of standing beside me where people could see. Gabriel stepped closer, then stopped. A service cart narrowed the space between them. May I pass? Maeve nodded. His hand hovered near her waist. May I touch you? The question struck harder than any command. Yes. His palm settled lightly against the curve of her waist as he moved past. He could have taken more. He did not. Maeve caught his sleeve. Gabriel turned. She rose onto her toes and kissed him. For one breath he remained still, giving her time to change her mind. Then his hand returned to her waist. When they separated, Maeve whispered, This does not make me yours. No, Gabriel said. It makes me a man hoping you might choose him. The lights died. A second later, the fire alarm screamed from the records room. The records room fire never reached the dining floor. Gabriel smothered it, while Maeve dragged 2 boxes into the alley. By dawn, the paper files were black pulp, but Nina held up a tablet. Everything through midnight was copied to the server. At 9, Veronica arrived with a lawyer and a termination notice. D'Amato Holdings would end the Marrow Room's lease 48 hours after the wedding. 32 employees, Maeve said. You are threatening them because Gabriel looked at me. Veronica's expression stayed elegant. I am correcting a business arrangement that no longer benefits me. You merely made the decision enjoyable. Gabriel stepped forward. I will purchase the building today. Maeve turned on him. No, I can stop this. You can replace her signature with yours. That does not make the building mine. His face tightened, but he remembered the agreement. What would help an independent attorney? The sale records. Every company attached to the purchase. Then Ruth and I decide. By noon, Gabriel had produced counsel without paying Maeve's expenses or attaching conditions. The attorney found D'Amato Holdings had bought the property through 3 shell companies, one formed 6 days earlier. Maeve and Ruth filed for an emergency injunction based on retaliation and defective notice. Gabriel stayed outside until Maeve invited him in. That night, Nina recovered the accounting page from the burned archive. One payment stood apart from rent, wine, and security, $18,000 to Bellini & Sons private jewelers. Gabriel stared at the name. They made the Morello ring. Maeve opened the attached design file. On the screen was the black diamond, the wolf's head engraving, and every measurement of the ring she had returned. Across the top, one word had been typed in red: duplicate. Bellini & Sons opened at 10. By 10:15, the elderly jeweler had locked the door and drawn every shade. "I was told the duplicate was for insurance," Mr. Bellini said. "The order came through D'Amato Holdings. They supplied photographs and measurements." "Only 3 people had access to those measurements," Gabriel said. Bellini opened his ledger. The receipt named a shell company and listed delivery to a Morello security office. Maeve photographed the page. "Who signed for it?" Before Bellini could answer, the lights flickered. An alarm sounded in the rear hall. Marco returned with 2 guards. "Broken window," he said. No one inside. The ledger was gone. Bellini's computer had been wiped, but Maeve still had the photograph. When she enlarged it, the delivery initials were blurred beneath a thumb. Marco leaned over her shoulder. Not enough to identify anyone. Maeve looked at him. She had not said she was searching for initials. Outside, Gabriel dismissed Marco and waited until his car left. "You suspect him," Maeve said. "I suspect everyone, including me, not anymore." The answer landed between them softly. Gabriel took her to the room above the restaurant. The ring was never copied before. "Veronica wants it for something that requires witnesses, and the wedding gives her hundreds." He nodded, then reached into his coat. Maeve's breath stopped when the black diamond appeared again. "I can end the D'Amato agreement before the ceremony," he said. "An engagement to you would void their claim to South Harbor." There it was, desire wrapped around strategy. Gabriel stepped closer. "But that is not the only reason. I think about you when rooms are empty. I hear your voice before I make decisions. I do not want Veronica beside me. I want you." He held out the ring. "Marry me, Maeve." Maeve stared at the ring until the black diamond blurred. "You said an engagement to me would void D'Amato's claim." "It would. And if I say no," Gabriel's hand remained open. "Maeve, would you still cancel the wedding?" Silence answered first. She felt the truth before he spoke. Gabriel wanted her. She believed that now. But he still wanted South Harbor peace between the families, and a solution that required her body beside his name. "I kissed you because I chose to," she said. "I will not marry you because it is strategically useful. That is not all this is." "No, but it is still part of it." His jaw tightened. "I am trying to keep people alive." "Then keep them alive without turning me into the door you used to escape another woman." Maeve took the ring from his palm. For one aching second she imagined wearing it, because he loved her, not because Boston was divided into territories. Then she placed it back in his hand. "I have feelings for you, Gabriel. That is why the answer has to be no." His fingers closed around the ring. "What would make it yes, cancel the wedding, even if I never stand beside you? Choose the truth before you choose me." She walked downstairs. Gabriel did not follow, did not order the doors locked, and did not send guards after her. The restraint hurt almost as much as the proposal. By morning, Maeve had withdrawn from the investigation and returned every Morello file. Gabriel accepted them without argument. That afternoon, Marco entered Gabriel's office carrying a recorder. "You were right to doubt her," he said. He played a woman's voice offering the delivery records and South Harbor schedules to someone linked to D'Amato Holdings. The voice belonged to Maeve. Gabriel listened to the recording 3 times. Maeve's voice was unmistakable. So was the offer delivery records, South Harbor schedules, and access codes in exchange for protection from D'Amato Holdings. Marco stood across the desk. She withdrew because she knew we were close. Gabriel heard Maeve's last words instead. "Choose the truth before you choose me." He replayed the final 12 seconds. Beneath her voice came the metallic chime of a harbor gate. Maeve had never been near South Harbor. "The background is wrong," he said. Marco's expression did not move. "Audio travels. So do lies." Gabriel ordered the file examined outside Morello security. He did not summon Maeve, threaten her, or send men to search her apartment. By evening, an independent analyst found 6 cuts and a copied voice fragment, taken from the restaurant's reservation line. At the Marrow Room, Veronica delivered a cream envelope herself. "My wedding requires a service captain," she said. "Your restaurant requires the contract." Maeve understood the trap. Refusing would cost Ruth the largest event of the year. Accepting would place her inside the hotel where the duplicate ring was meant to surface. "I will work it," Maeve said. That night, Nina fitted her phone with automatic cloud transfer. Anything you record uploads before anyone can delete it. 2 days later, during the final walkthrough, Maeve followed a discrepancy in the seating plan to the service corridor. Veronica's voice carried through the half-closed elevator door. "Put the ring in her right pocket after the second toast." Marco answered, and the phone break it before she can play the recording. Gabriel must see a desperate waitress, not a witness. Maeve pressed record. In the elevator's steel door, Marco's eyes lifted to her reflection. The ballroom glittered with white roses, crystal, and the quiet violence of powerful families pretending to celebrate. Gabriel stood at the altar in a black tuxedo. The Morello ring remained in his inner pocket. He had not found enough proof to cancel the alliance without igniting South Harbor. Maeve entered through the service doors, wearing the captain's black jacket. She did not look at the altar. "Second toast in 12 minutes, Nina whispered through her earpiece. The upload reached the restaurant server. Maeve exhaled. "Keep it offline until I signal." Marco appeared beside the champagne station. "Your phone." "No." He reached for it, but Maeve stepped into the ballroom. Too many witnesses. Veronica saw them from the aisle. Her veil moved as she left the altar before the vows were complete. "What is happening?" Gabriel asked. "My wedding is being robbed." Veronica snatched Maeve's phone and hurled it into the champagne tower. Glass cracked. Gold liquid spilled across the flowers. "Search her," Veronica ordered. 2 guards hesitated. Marco did not. His hand entered Maeve's right pocket and emerged with the black diamond ring. It struck the marble and spun between rose petals. A murmur passed through 300 guests. Veronica looked over Maeve's full figure. A woman who carries dinner plates should know that touching a wedding ring does not make her the bride. Gabriel stared at the ring on the floor. His hand moved inside his coat, closing around the real one. Maeve did not bend. She watched her phone sink beneath the champagne. Then she looked at Veronica. "You destroyed that before anyone mentioned the recording." Veronica's smile faltered. "There are no copies left," she said. Maeve lifted her chin. "I never said there was a copy." The ballroom screens flashed white. Nina's voice came through the speakers. "The copy was never on the phone." Then Veronica's voice filled the room. "Put the ring in her right pocket after the second toast." Marco answered, and the phone break it before she can play the recording. Gabriel must see a desperate waitress, not a witness. No one moved. Gabriel drew the real Morello ring from inside his coat and held it beside the one on the marble. The copied wolf's head faced the wrong direction. A jeweler's serial number matched the Bellini invoice on the screen. Marco, Gabriel said. Marco moved toward the exit. 2 Morello guards blocked him. Fear crossed his face. The remaining audio exposed the forged delivery, the 11 missing minutes, the attack on Gabriel's car, and Veronica's plan to force the South Harbor Agreement through marriage. Veronica tore off her veil. Without D'Amato, the docks burn. Then let them go. Gabriel removed the wedding band and dropped it at her feet. This wedding is over. South Harbor is no longer part of any agreement. Morello will surrender its claim before I use another person as a shield for my empire. The room erupted, but Gabriel stepped down from the altar. He stopped before Maeve. The first time I offered this ring to mark you. The second I offered it to save myself. Both times you were right to refuse me. He took the silver tray from her hands, placed the real ring at its center, and knelt. I do not need you to protect my name, end a war, or rescue me from a marriage I should have ended alone. I only want the chance to build a life you are free to enter or leave. His voice carried through the silent ballroom. Maeve Callahan, will you marry me? Maeve looked at the abandoned altar behind him, then at the ring on the tray. Stand up, Gabriel. Gabriel rose, leaving the ring on the tray between them. I am not becoming the replacement bride at a wedding built to transfer territory, Maeve said. And I will not answer while 300 people wait to see which woman you choose. I understand. But I heard what you surrendered before you asked me. South Harbor, the alliance, the lie that peace required someone else's life. She lifted the tray. My answer is yes to a future with you. It is no to this altar, this audience, and any marriage arranged before I choose the date. Relief crossed Gabriel's face, but he did not reach for her until she offered her hand. They left through the service doors together. No vows were exchanged that day. Veronica lost control of D'Amato Holdings when the forged invoices poisoned Amaro property purchase and recorded conspiracy reached investigators. Marco was removed from Morello security and held for prosecution. Gabriel surrendered South Harbor, separated its legitimate businesses from family operations, and placed Morello Logistics under outside audit. The injunction protected the Marrow Room. Using her savings, a commercial loan, and Ruth's agreement, Maeve bought her share under her own name. 8 months later, after the last table had gone, white roses stood between the restaurant's black chairs. There were no political guests, territorial contracts, or woman waiting to be replaced. Gabriel placed the Morello ring on the same silver saucer. He did not pick it up for her. Maeve looked at the man who had learned that protection without permission was another form of control. Then she lifted the ring, slid it onto her own finger, and took his hand. The first time he had offered the ring as protection. The second as an escape. The third time Gabriel left it on the saucer, and Maeve chose it for herself. Maeve did not win because a mafia boss chose a plus-size waitress over a polished bride. She won because she refused every version of love that required her to disappear inside someone else's name. The reversed seal false signature, missing 11 minutes duplicate ring, and Veronica's careless words proved the wedding was never about peace. It was a transfer of control. Gabriel's greatest act was not kneeling before 300 people. It was surrendering South Harbor before he knew whether Maeve would say yes. Veronica believed a ring could secure an empire. Marco believed fear could rewrite evidence. Gabriel once believed protection gave him the right to decide. Maeve taught him that love begins where ownership ends. Was she right to give him a third chance? Or was his world still too dangerous to enter?